This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on This Health Today, Dunedin's elected representatives have begun debating the city's 10-year plan. Work is continuing well on the construction site of a 7-storey hotel in Invercargill. And a Dunedin bar owner says there's no need to panic yet about the global lemon shortage for a variety of reasons. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. Dunedin City Councillors have started discussions on what the city's spending should look like over the next 10 years. The 10-year plan for the council's budget is already under fire from some, with the rates rises being a major issue.
This week sees Dunedin councillors deciding which of the spending proposals for the city over the next 10 years will go ahead. Long-time Debt Hawk councillor Lee Vandervis told his fellow councillors it's wrong to assume there won't be financial curveballs hitting the city in the near future.
So all in all, the assumptions here are essentially optimistic. I believe we need to be looking at case scenarios where interest rates are higher, where fuel costs are higher, where people's ability to pay rates is compromised, and I don't see any of that in these assumptions.
Vandervis's comments were rebutted by Mayor Aaron Hawkins, who says he wants to see budgets based on a positive economic outlook.
By continuing as loudly and as often as possible to talk down the economic prospects of our city and of our community, I can't see how that does anyone any good in the short, medium or long term.
Councillors voted 13-2 to base budget debates on the assumption of a positive outlook for the local economy. Discussion and debate of the council's 10-year plan will continue until the end of the week. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And full video coverage of the 10-year plan debate is available to view online at odt.co.nz. Things are looking up for Dunedin's George Street retail strip, with 4 national retailers moving in. And for one of them, it will be their first appearance in Otago. The cut-price pharmacy called Bargain Chemist will make its first foray south of Christchurch by moving into the former ANZ Bank building on the northern end of the block. The pharmacy chain, with its distinctive red branding, says the shop is due to open at the end of the month. It will be the 10th store for the chain, which has 1 shop in Auckland, 2 in Wellington and 6 in Christchurch. The store will have about 25 staff and be open 7 days a week. The New Zealand-owned pharmacy chain is aiming to eventually have about 30 shops nationwide. Work is continuing apace on a new 7-storey hotel in the heart of Invercargill. Built by the Invercargill Licensing Trust, the 80-room hotel will also include a rooftop bar with 360-degree views of the southern city.
ILT Chief Executive Chris Ramsey gives a tour of the Langlens Hotel development in Invercargill. The 80-room hotel is set to feature a rooftop bar 7 floors up, with doors that open to an outside area.
So on a beautiful day like this, be able to come up and have a chilled beer or a cold bubbles and watch the aircraft land and see the amazing views right the way through to the tackies. There's actually 360-degree views, so the direction I'm facing, Blufffield, you'll be able to see, and east and west as well, so she's pretty spectacular.
The top floor was originally designated as a conference and event area, but the building's owners, the Invercargill Licensing Trust, decided a bar would be a more viable option.
A couple of months ago, once we had to start making some real detailed design decisions, we put it in front of the board that it would be great to be able to turn it into a bar, and they did go.
The new hotel is under construction on the corner of D and Don Streets in the heart of Invercargill, with the upper 3 floors designed to look like a lantern floating above the city.
It's going to be a pretty unique and different, spectacular place.
A typical day currently sees about 70 workers on site, with the number set to double once the building is closed in around April. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Dunedin Airport security officer who planted a fake bomb 2 days after the deadly Christchurch mosque attacks has been jailed for 3 years. 32-year-old Preetam Prakash Maid was sentenced in the Dunedin District Court today after he was found guilty of breaking the Aviation Crimes Act. The Dunedin Airport employee took items including a SodaStream gas canister, a decommissioned cell phone and red and black wiring and stashed them in his bag. He placed a fake bomb at the end of the airport's runway before calling aviation security. Judge Michael Crosby told Maid his actions were cynical and cruel at a time when the country was in mourning. Maid maintained his innocence throughout the sentencing. The global pandemic is being blamed for a shortage of lemons across New Zealand. While many Kiwis have lemon trees in their backyard, American growers are feeling the squeeze due to COVID-19 restrictions during New Zealand's off-season. And there could be implications for the nation's gin drinkers, but a Dunedin publican says there's no need to panic yet.
Slicing into yellow gold. A global shortage of lemons, combined with the bitter fruit being out of season in New Zealand, means the citrus is hard to come by at the moment.
Shipping containers going around the world with COVID is a massive problem, and then even the containers that are making it over here, containers from California need to be fumigated to stop bugs and funguses and things getting in, and lemons don't handle that particularly well, so the shippers aren't wanting to be sending lemons over because a lot of them are going to be spoiling.
Dunedin Gin Bar Zanzibar is known for having a vast array of gins on offer, around 120 at last count, and owner Shane Simpson says if you think lemons are scarce and expensive, try looking for limes.
When the kiwi limes run out, we go from about $7 a kilo for limes up to, I've only just been able to get them back in stock again for $50 a kilo.
Much of New Zealand's latest lemon crop headed overseas in 2020 to Japan, Korea, China and the United States. The increase in the wholesale price of lemons and limes is putting a squeeze on the business's margins. But he says punters shouldn't expect to pay more for their beverage of choice.
We tend to be able to even that out across the year, so you're kind of averaging what your pricings are going to be at.
Simpson says many of the wide array of gins on offer are more suited to a different garnish. Some work well with berries, which are currently in season during New Zealand's summer, while one gin producer kicked off a vegetable trend in recent years.
First thing that comes to mind is with Hendrick's, you've got cucumber, which goes beautifully with its set of botanicals. The success of Hendrick's marketing, you're actually seeing people requesting cucumber in other gins as well.
But ultimately, he has a sense of pragmatism about the availability of lemons.
I think if life takes away lemons, use something else.
Among other factors affecting New Zealand's lemon supply is the dwindling number of orchards, as growers look to more profitable and reliable produce like kiwi fruit. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, an unusual tropical herb is flowering in Otago Museum's tropical forest, and a solo yachtswoman stuck in New Zealand is making the most of her time by fundraising for young people.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
TV, our favourite babysitter, but it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Welcome back. An unusual tropical herb is flowering in Otago Museum's tropical forest. The black bat flower, as it's known, can grow up to 70 centimetres across and is attracting many curious visitors.
A plant by any other name would be just as hair-raising. Taka chantreri Andre, or the black bat flower, belongs to the yam family. It is also known as devil flower or cat's whiskers, and it's not hard to see why. Otago Museum Living Environment Officer Dr. Anthony Stumbo says it's enjoying the atmosphere at the tropical forest.
So like somewhat shaded, at least 60% shaded, very humid, warm, hopefully some airflow. They're self-pollinators for the most part, so they need that, even though flies can pollinate them sometimes.
The flower is up to 30 centimetres wide, black, somewhat bat-shaped, and has long whiskers that can grow up to 70 centimetres. It typically grows in Southeast Asian jungles. Dr. Stumbo says he frequently hears visitors to the forest saying wow, meaning they've spotted the bat flower, which only blooms for a short time.
The flowers actually progress along the fronds, and then you'll see seed pods in there. And so the flowers die relatively quickly, each individual one, but the pods will last for quite a while. It actually takes about 18 months for those to mature until they're ready to burst and spread.
Describing it as not a sweet-smelling flower, he says there are a few varieties of this plant with different coloured blooms.
And there are actually a few different varieties of this species. So this particular one is black, but there are white ones and golden ones as well.
He says it smells as you'd expect a bat flower to smell, but can be a little pungent as it starts to die. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Paratroopers will descend from the skies above Otago next month. The New Zealand Defence Force is conducting parachute training exercises from the start of February for about 3 weeks. Defence Force spokesperson says the exercises will be based at the Alexandra Airport and will involve training parachute jumps from both commercial aircraft and a Royal New Zealand Air Force Lockheed Hercules. The public may see military personnel parachuting from aircraft around Alexandra, Omakau, Wanaka and Dunedin. About 30 personnel will take part in the exercise. A solo yachtswoman stuck in New Zealand is making the most of her time waiting for borders to reopen. Lana Kohola is sailing a figure 8 around the country to raise funds for young people in foster care.
Ilana Connor and her rescue dog Zia have had to put their circumnavigation of the globe on hold, having arrived in New Zealand just before COVID-19 closed borders across the world. While stuck here, she learned of someone walking the length of New Zealand to raise funds for foster care, and she thought she'd like to do something similar.
And I found this guy who walked the Te Araroa Trail in order to raise money for his local foster care organization. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, wait, I could walk that trail. I'm like, wait a second, I have a boat. I can circumnavigate.
So Connor and her dog Zia are sailing a figure 8 trip around New Zealand to raise money for youths in foster care so they can go on a sailing trip of their own on a ship, the Spirit of New Zealand.
We were kind of thinking about what sort of things could be helpful or life-changing for them, and we realized that the Spirit of New Zealand 10-day journeys, they're proven to increase resilience in young folks.
It's a personal mission for Connor, as she grew up in a violent home and knows what foster care is like, especially being released from foster care without any support at 18 years of age.
Specifically, we wanted to create more opportunities for young people who are aging out of care. So that's my story. I went into care at 15, aged out at 18, and had no support after that. And the reality is not that much different for young folks here.
So far, Connor has raised $15,000 in donations towards helping fostered youths go on a sailing trip. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we hear an update on the demolition of the former Albany Street radio station and recording studios, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Welcome to Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have no shortage of stock. Check these out. We've got the Dunedin print t-shirts. Check out our zillions of short sleeve shirts. These are crackers. They iron themselves in the wash. Iron cheater they're called. And there's some really cool polo shirts. Look at all the bright colours. And of course there's no shortage of shorts. This is always one of our brightest corners. Our long sleeve fashion shirts. Jeans, casual trousers, dress trousers, you name it, we have you covered.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So if you're shopping for your family or yourself, come and see Alex Campbell Menswear stores. We're full of stock.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Welcome back. The plastic used to fully enclose the former Albany Street radio station and recording studios has now been removed. Seen here in footage from last December, the negative pressure tent covered the building while asbestos was being taken away. Specialist contractors began the asbestos removal and demolition process in the middle of last year and have now removed the roof so demolition can be finished. Contractors will be following a strict approved methodology to remove any remaining asbestos. Once clear, the land will be used for a new 450-bed University of Otago Hall of Residence. Now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Dunedin's elected representatives have begun debating the city's 10-year plan with some heated exchanges. Work is continuing well on the construction site of a 7-storey hotel in Invercargill, set to have panoramic views. And a Dunedin bar owner says there's no need to panic about the global lemon shortage for a variety of reasons, including a number of other options. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie. How are you?
Good evening. Very good. How are you?
Good. Boy, it's been a busy day. Court and council today. It's all been about court and council. A very big day in Dunedin Court. The very sad day, obviously, for the family of the young Central Otago boy who died a couple of years ago in the of gas poisoning in the camp shower. So the sentencing today for the plumber who installed that. And we've got the summing up of that that case in as many details as we're allowed to report. And also the case of the man who, the fake bomb threat at Dunedin Airport, sentenced to 3 years jail today. So a lot of big court news. And council, well, it's going to be a very heavy focus of tomorrow's paper, the long-term plan, obviously. Today's discussion largely around budgets and money and all sorts of those things. So we've got a team of 2 there all day, every day, and there'll be probably something on the page 1 tomorrow and a further page inside. There'll be a lot of interesting topics for the people of the city to read and digest, and then look forward to offering their feedback on. So
Great.
Heaps more to come on that. And a lovely photo of sunflowers. So it's sunflower season, obviously, and up there near Weston, near Oamaru, at Rosedale, an especially lovely sunflower paddock. So Stephen Jackery popped up there today to get a cracking pic, and people will have to wait till tomorrow's ODT and buy a copy to see that on page 1. And an interesting story out of Queenstown, whether the H should go into Whakatipu, and the Queenstown Lakes District Council saying it's probably time that it should, and their plan is to update all of their own systems, signs, processes, stationery to put in the H. And I think more discussion is coming sort of Queenstown-wide into whether it's time to formally have that change happen. And if that's the way it was and the way it should be, then that's the way it should be. The H will come into Whakatipu, so that'll create some discussion too. So all that and heaps more. It's going to be a good paper, hopefully.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hayden. And now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, a bit of inner city greenery. Looking at the situation, a few days of very cold temperatures ahead as a strong southwesterly airflow is set to blow over the South Island, with hail showers possible on eastern and southern coasts and very chilly temperatures for the time of the year. Starting off at the northwest, it's partial cloud and 17 degrees for Greymouth, while Westport can expect showers and 16. On the eastern side, mostly sunny in Blenheim with 27 degrees and partial cloud in Nelson with 24. Further down the east coast, showers for the region with 22 degrees in Kaikoura, 19 in Christchurch and 18 in Ashburton. To the southern towns, it's 11 degrees for all centres with strong southwesterlies and showers in the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore. Over in central, gusty southwesterlies and showers clearing with 14 degrees in Queenstown, Alexandra and Wanaka. Te Anau can expect southwesterlies, showers and 11. To the northern towns, fresh southwesterlies and showers with 18 degrees in Timaru, 14 in Oamaru. Inland, gusty southwesterlies and showers clearing with 15 degrees in Twizel and Omarama. In Dunedin, rain and colder southwesterlies developing later tonight with a low of 11. Very cold tomorrow with strong gusty southwesterlies. Dry at first, but showers developing from late morning and possible hail. A high of 12 and a low of 6. Cloudy and very cold on Friday with showers for most of the day. Strong gusty southwesterlies, showers clearing and winds easing Friday night. A high of 12 and a low of 5. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with strong cold southwesterlies and a low of 9. Becoming cold tomorrow with frequent showers, some hail likely and strong gusty southwesterlies. A high of 10 and a low of 5. Showers clearing slowly later in the day on Friday with strong, very cold southwesterlies easing gradually. A high of 11 and a low of 5. That's all for our news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.